Hello, U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Go ahead and put your questions in the comments now. That's what I'm here to do. So, as promised, I talked to you on Friday and I asked if you had any questions. There were a lot of questions coming in and I couldn't get to all of them. So, today I want to get to your questions. So as soon as you know you have your questions, put your questions in the comments so I can quickly answer those questions for you. Now, to start, let me formally introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, I'm U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. So I do come on here and I try to come on here Mondays through Fridays at around lunchtime to answer your questions and also to talk about particular topics. And so here I am. I'm here to answer those questions today. Go ahead, put your questions in the comments. Megha, I think, put the questions in the comments right now, and I'll answer those questions. Now, I am on a limited time, so make sure you just don't waste any time. Put your questions in the comments. It can be anything that's immigration related. It doesn't have to be any kind of topic that you hear me commonly talk about, but it can be anything that's immigration related. So I'm in a visitor's visa. I don't want to get married to stay. What other options do I have? So with this is an extremely broad topic. There are ways to obtain your permanent residence without marriage. So do you have other family members? Do you have an employer who wants to petition for you? Those are some of the ways that you can apply for your own green card without getting married. But you do have to meet very specific requirements. It can't be a situation that just by virtue of being here and just by virtue of you wanting the green card, you can just apply on your own. For example, if it's going to be through a family member and you want to stay here in the US, you're going to have to show that you have a current priority date, which most priority dates are not current. So that's one thing. And so, you probably, it's very unlikely that if you are not the immediate relative of a US citizen, that means that you're the parent of a US citizen who is over 21 years old, you are the son or daughter under 21 of a citizen. If you're not one of those, then it's unlikely that you will just be able to apply for adjustment of status and get the green card. However, there are individuals who are here in the United States who are facing circumstances that can lead them to get permanent residence, even if they're not married. And this is what I help those clients to do. For example, clients who are being mistreated by a citizen or resident spouse. So you may be married in that case, but they're not helping you with the paperwork. Then VAWA could be an option for you. The other is if you're being mistreated by an employer or a relative, they're forcing you to do work for them, or they're just making you feel stuck, and they're basically wanting you to be in compliance with their demands for their own benefit. That could qualify you for T status, which eventually leads to permanent residence. Asylum is also one option if you are afraid to go back to your home country because you're going to be targeted there. So there are different options. And then there are other options as well, such as investment. So there's the EB-5 immigrant visa, or you can also do it through adjustment of status. There's also if you have extraordinary ability. Extraordinary ability is basically to say you don't necessarily have to be famous, but you have to be at the top of the field that you're in. And it's usually in specific types of fields. But if you can show you're at the top of your field, then the extraordinary ability green card can possibly be a way that you can petition for yourself. You don't need an employer. There's also the national interest waiver. And that one is if you have an advanced degree or you can show exceptional ability, you can apply for the green card on your own as well. And they will waive the requirement for an employer to submit labor certification. They'll even waive the requirement that an employer sponsors you directly. So as you can see, there are so many options. There are more than 21 ways, more than 21, not 21, more than 21 ways to get the green card. But this is where the scheduling an appointment with an attorney is going to be essential for you, because I broke that down in very simplistic terms, but we also have to talk. When I talk to individuals, I have to break it down even further, find out what their background is, what their qualifications are, what they've been through, who their relatives are, what age are they, what immigration status are they, to figure out which categories they would fall into to get permanent residence. So go ahead, give us a call, schedule your appointment, and we can start talking right away. All right, great questions so far. I'm trying to get through your questions very quickly. How can a work permit renew after it expires nearly a year? So the work permit, when you're renewing it, you're usually getting a work permit because you've either gotten a type of status that comes with a work permit, like the T status, or you have applied for an immigration benefit and they give you the work permit benefit or relief. So when I say relief, it means that you are applying for maybe humanitarian type of relief, like TPS. And in that case, if you've applied for it, then that work permit comes along with it. And as long as your process is pending, they will allow you to renew the work permit. So the filing, the where you're going to file it, whether you can even still renew it, is going to be dependent on whether your process is still pending or what kind of process you're going through. Because remember, work permits are different from visas or work visas. A work permit is a type of benefit that you're getting while you're applying for while you're applying for your green card, while you're applying or waiting for certain statuses to come through. For example, like your asylum, you can get the work permit, but the work permit in itself is not an immigration status, but it just says you have the permission to be here, to work here until your process comes through. What would I do if my notes letter didn't reach my address? So your receipt notice. So the receipt notice is that letter that you get from immigration confirming that they have now processed your application. So it didn't reach my address because the appointment number was never on the address. Apartment number was never on the address. How could I get to reopen my case? So it's usually sometimes there is a type of administrative process to get it reopened, maybe based on USCIS error. So if it was the error of the USCIS where you provided your apartment number, but they didn't put their apartment number, then you could go through an administrative type of process to get it reopened. But now the question is, how long did that process go on? How long since you got this denial? These would be questions that you would have to definitely call the office so we can sort through that and then figure out how to address that issue and to determine whether it was a USCIS error or whether it was an error in the application that missed the number. I was told I won't get asylum because a gun wasn't placed in my face. I'm a mom of 2 US citizen children under 10. What do I do? And I filed my application for asylum myself. Can I get a work permit? So, whether you can qualify, now you don't have to have a gun put in your face for you to get asylum. There are different types of persecutions, dangers, threats that individuals face in their own countries, and it's based on all sorts of different types of reasons. It could be based on your identity, based on your ethnicity, based on your religion, based on your political affiliation, based on other types of groups that you identify with, that you may be a part of a group that on a whole you're being targeted because you identify as part of that group of people. And so it doesn't necessarily have to involve just a gun. What kinds of threats did you face? Did other people in your similar situation face similar threats? Were they killed or harmed in some way? And because of that, do you have now a credible fear of that same thing happening to you? So get an attorney. Now, getting the work permit. Getting the work permit is possible with an asylum, but now the next question is, when did you file the asylum compared to when, because you're supposed to file the asylum application within 365 days of entering the country. Otherwise, it gets a lot more difficult to get the asylum, and it could also affect your ability to get the work permit. The work permit, you can usually apply for a work permit 150 days after you submitted the application, but it has to be the filing dates have to be on point for it, for your work permit application to be on time for you to get the work permit without delay. So get an attorney. That's the best advice I have for you. Asylum is not a type of application where you want to freestyle your way through the process, because there are very specific legal requirements that if you don't address those, you could find yourself being denied. Good afternoon. I have a question. I'm Bahamian immigrant, been living over here for 21 years. Is it still possible to get my residency, not just based on living here for 21 years? Hopefully, we'll have some reform that assists people who have been living here for that long to get their status. But usually, I find that individuals who have been here this long without their status, they have been through some stuff. And some of that, the bad stuff that they've gone through, can help them to get relief to get their status here, such as a T status if they've been mistreated by uh, an employer or by a relative as a result of being here. All right. I'm also on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitch. So go ahead and put your questions in the comments. I only have a few minutes, but I'm going to run through your questions, as many questions as I can. What is the possibility of your green card being approved for VAWA after work permit being approved? The work permit doesn't have any bearing on whether you're going to be approved for VAWA. It's great because you're able to get stable, you're able to move forward while you wait for the VAWA decision. But the work permit is there to provide you the relief you need while you wait for the decision. My husband filed for my kids 2018. They got approved May 5th, 2023, received approval letter from USCIS. They're above 21. We haven't heard anything from USCIS. He also wants to withdraw my kid's case. So the reason that they probably haven't heard anything is because the priority date hasn't come yet. Now, when the priority date takes about 5 to 7 years after the date of filing to come through. Now, if the kids are under 25, there may still be a way to apply for VAWA. Now, you also said that he is retaliating because you refuse to take his abuse anymore. So give us a call. Let's talk about what's happening, and we can see if we can assist you with any options. Because if there was some mistreatment or extreme cruelty or abuse by him towards the kids and even you, we'd need to get to the base of it and then figure out if there's solutions through VAWA or through any other type of status or relief. How to make an appointment, go to the description of this video. So on Facebook, you'll see in the description of the video the link to the link to the website where you'll see buttons. So Linktree, where you'll see the page to schedule your own appointment. You'll see the website. The website has a phone number, online chat, contact form. So there are so many different ways, easy ways to get in touch with us, and you'll be able to speak with someone or schedule your own appointment. So go ahead and do that. And on Instagram, it's on the profile page, the link on the profile page. I've got condition removed without my abusive ex-husband. Been divorced since 2020. I recently remarried. How soon can I file for that spouse? So usually if you have permanent residence, you're going to want to wait 5 years because you did get permanent residence through this spouse, which means that you do have to wait for 5 years. Now, it sounds like you got permanent residence through this spouse, you got your conditions removed. So that means that you went through the entire process with this spouse. So you're going to have to wait until you have permanent residence for 5 years before you file for that other spouse. What are the options when you do a biometric and then the spouse threatens to stop papers? If that spouse is a citizen or resident, VAWA is going to be your option there. Give us a call, let us talk, and don't wait till it reaches crisis level because that's going to make your situation a lot more complex. When you receive, you have been approved by USCIS when applied using I-360 application. What's the next step? So usually if you've applied for the green card, they're going to go to the green card. You're going to get a work permit based on I think this is VAWA I-360 application. You're going to get another work permit. Oh, it's not VAWA, it's the widower. So the next step is you're going to move right on to get the green card if you file the adjustment of status application. My petition is in. I got the work permit, SSN. My husband called immigration and accused me of marriage fraud. What can I do? So this is where I say don't wait until you reach crisis levels before you apply for VAWA. Because once you have this accusation in, it's going to also complicate any other applications you submit to immigration. But if your spouse is doing this to sabotage you, your best option is to pursue VAWA, to seek relief from the immigration for this accusation that they're making against you. So give us a call and we can definitely work with you. I'm also being mistreated and threatened about papers. What should I do? Give me a call. That's what you need to do. VAWA is going to be the solution here, but to confirm this, I need to talk to you in a consultation. But to go ahead and do that now. Can you tell about fiance visa? How can you take, so only US citizens can file for their fiance. You have to show that you've seen each other within the most recent 2 years of the petition that you'll file. And you have to show that you have the intention to get married. So that is the basics about the fiance visa. All right, that's going to be it for me today. I will be back tomorrow at around lunchtime to take your questions. So go ahead and come back. So I'll have a topic tomorrow. You can come with your questions, and I always leave a little time after I talk about the topic to answer your questions. So meet me tomorrow again where we can talk about those, do another Q&A right after I talk about the topic that I think will also interest you. Thanks so much for your time, everyone. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.